service as a strong advocate for cultural representation in the global fashion industry. And I'd like to say thank you to all our judges. Please give them a round of applause. Next, we have our scrutineers. To ensure integrity, fairness, and transparency in our judging process, we are privileged to have the expertise of our scrutineers. We have Ms. Pamela Nauru from Solomon Islands. Is the CEO of the Solomon Islands Accountants Association, ensuring the highest standard of accuracy in our scoring process. And we also have Clifton Mark of Solomon Islands. He is a financial manager at the Solomon Islands Ports Authority, dedicated to upholding accountability in all of our results. These are our amazing individuals that will help crown our next Miss Pacific Islands with honor and integrity. So please, one final round of applause. I would now like to call upon Miss Pacific Islands Pageant Secretariat Representative, Ms. Tracy Wong Ling Warren, for the method of judging information for today.
Hello, Oketa. Good morning and warm greetings again, everyone. Welcome to our pre-pageant program again, interview today for the Miss Pacific Islands Pageant 2025. So before we begin, we'd like to go over a few housekeeping matters for the information of everyone who are gathered here today. Please ensure that you switch off your mobile phones or put it on silent to avoid any disruptions during the event. Please, no noise or distractions while contestants are doing their presentations or their speeches. If you need to leave the room, do so between the contestants' presentations and not during their presentations. In case of an emergency, please take note of the nearest exits and follow the instructions of our friendly staff here at the Heritage Park Hotel. And the restroom facilities are located just outside the hallway when you make your way out. Lastly, we kindly ask for your respect and attentiveness as our contestants share their insights and responses. Therefore, please keep all applause until the end of the contestants' presentation. Moving along with our method of judging. Each contestant will have 5 minutes to present their topic. Judging will be based on the following: in-depth knowledge of the topic and intelligence, presentation and expression of topic, clarity of speech and emotional control, eloquence and elegance, and last, the quality of the responses to questions. Contestants will be asked at least 2 questions from at least 2 different judges. Each contestant will be given 5 minutes to present her chosen topic. We have a timekeeper sitting beside our scrutineers on that side, and the timekeeper will present an orange card or put up an orange card come the time that the contestant only has 1 more minute remaining of her allocated time for her speech. The red card stipulates that her time is up right there, and therefore points will be deducted if the contestants present over the stipulated time stated before. And these points deducted will be noted by our official scrutineers on that side. I take this opportunity to wish all our contestants here today all the best with your presentations. Thank you.
And now we begin the much anticipated part of today, the pre-pageant interview. This is an opportunity for our contestants to showcase not only their outer beauty and grace, but the depth of their knowledge, passion, and leadership that we have seen throughout this whole week together. Leading us into this segment is our first contestant, representing the host nation, the Solomon Islands. Please welcome Miss Solomon Islands, Elsie Polosovai. Miss Solomon Islands contestant number 1 will be speaking on the topic of dedication.
Dame Carol Hindu once said,
Dame Carol Kindu once said that education is not just a right, it is a pathway to resilience, innovation, and sustainable development for the Pacific. Let us ensure every child has access to quality education as they are the future of our blue Pacific continent. Distinguished judges, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Pacific Island Pageant Committee, and my fellow contestant sisters, I am contestant number 1, Elsie Porosavaya, your Miss Solomon Islands 2024-2025. And it is an honor that I stand here before you to speak on a topic that not only shapes individual lives, but the future of our world, education. Education is more than what happens in a classroom, it happens in our homes, our communities, and through the experiences that shape us. Yet, across the Pacific, access to quality education remains a privilege and not a guarantee. According to UNESCO, 1 in 4 Pacific children do not complete primary school, and in remote areas, students travel for hours by boat, canoe, and overcrowded transport just to reach school. And in some rural areas of the Solomon Islands, 1 teacher may be responsible for up to 50 students. Girls and children with disabilities face even greater challenges held back by financial struggles and cultural norms. So while I enjoy my short bus rides to school, my cousins in the village still journey through rivers, dense bush just to get an education. But the challenge awaits them even when they arrive at school, as many rural schools lack textbooks, proper facilities, and trained teachers, making quality education even harder to access. So meanwhile, in some communities, boys' education is still prioritized over girls' education, which further limits the opportunities for countless young women. Education should not be a privilege determined by geography, gender, or circumstance. It should be a right, one that empowers every child in the Pacific to realize their full potential. Inclusivity means ensuring that every child, regardless of gender, socioeconomic background, ethnicity, or ability, has the opportunity to learn and thrive. But for many, this remains a distant reality. Children with disabilities in particular are often stigmatized and excluded from quality education. During a charity visit to one of the vocational training schools, I spoke with a student who shared how his disability has made him feel undervalued and often discriminated by his own community. And these are not just personal struggles, these are the barriers that hold us back as a collective to progress in our societies. So how do we break these barriers, and how do we make education truly accessible and inclusive in the Pacific? Number 1, invest in inclusive infrastructure. We must build more schools that are accessible to all children, including those with disabilities. But we also need to think beyond a traditional classroom. Mobile schools, online learning platforms, and community-based digital programs can bring education to students who face these barriers. During COVID-19, the SIBC News delivered school lessons via radio, and while in Fiji, there were solar-powered radios that brought education to remote villages. Innovations like these prove that true inclusivity means reaching every child, no matter their circumstances. Number 2, let's challenge cultural norms. We must dismantle barriers that limit girls' access to education. Providing scholarships, mentorship programs, and safe learning environments will empower girls to stay in school. As the saying goes, educate a girl, break the cycle, empower a sustainable future. Number 3, strengthen partnerships. Sustainable solutions require collaboration with government, private organizations, and community. While UNESCO and UNICEF are doing a great job, there is still more work to be done. Education should go beyond the classroom. It should spark creativity, build
You spoke of quality of education. How would you advocate for increased access to quality education in your community?
Thank you very much. In my own community, how I would advocate is to provide more programs for trained teachers. One of my fondest memories of school is my teachers. I really love my teachers, and something that my mom taught me is that you don't just pick up teachers from the street to come teach in school. These are people that have been trained over years to deliver lessons. So one way I'd advocate is to get more training to our teachers, quality training, so that they can have the ability to teach our kids to the highest quality that they deserve. Thank you.
That was a beautiful answer, Ms. Solomon Islands. Now, you are a lab technician as a profession, and science can be a very boring subject, especially for the younger generation. So, how would you use your voice as Ms. Solomon Islands to encourage the students to embrace health and sciences?
Thank you so much for that question. I was waiting for a sciencey question. I would try to make it look glamorous, that it's good to have arts and science in the back of your pocket. I think often science is more of the glamorized pathways, especially for people like us who come from tribes where we have to feed a lot of people. So it's more glamorous to take a sciencey pathway when you're in university. But arts is just as important. Arts and science should always go hand in hand, and I always try to make that known. I always tell people that, I do a little bit of acting on the side, I do a little bit of traditional dancing and that on the side on top of my lab tech work. So yeah, it's always good to make it look glamorous and make it look like someone can do two things at the same time and not just one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Solomon Islands, for your insightful sharing about education and how it shapes our future. And thank you, judges, for your question. Next, we turn to the subject that is deeply woven into our identity, which is culture. And representing Samoa, please welcome contestant 2, Miss Samoa Litara Yeremia Allen.
Ah, nice.
O te whai ula, walau I ula, e mamai le tawae, ina e ono fulu, e whapena, lo wha me melo I lau anganu. honorable judges, Lauafionga Fortino Mwenwana Safato Shwenki, my sisters of the crown, Samoa, Malau Tapua Ingamamana, those who hail from the lands of Guadalcanal lands, and my beloved Pacifica Wansawara. I celebrate through the traditional Samoan chant today, which means just as the Tawai bird is cloaked in the glory of its feathers, so too shall I stand in the full magnificence of my anganuu and my culture. This is the essence of my topic today. One only has to look around this room to see the richness and diversity of our Pacifica culture. Seeing the participation of Melanesian, Polynesian, and Micronesian contestants and teams this year has made me hopeful, and it is in this room, on this platform, through our stories, I wish to concentrate my reflections on culture, to what it means in the context of the Miss Pacific Islands pageant. In 1987, Fana'afi Aiono Lezangaloa and other Pacific women leaders established a cultural platform, now known as the Miss Pacific Islands. Fierce guardians of our dialects and customs. And today, I would like to touch on 3 points I believe will aid us in the preserving, promoting, and protecting of our Pacific cultures. Firstly, language serves. I hear and I know the essence of my culture in every word. Efforts of Kanaka Maoli in Hawaii, Tangata Whenua and Aotearoa, in the areas of language revitalization with Pū, Nana Leo and Kura Kaupapa are prime examples of this in practice. Within my own Samoan context, primary schools such as Samoa Primary now only teach in Ngangana Samoa. Our Samoan language in years 1 to 3 to increase their proficiency. Festival, the Te Wila Festival, Te Matatini, and the Melanesian Arts and Cultural Festival etch our languages and cultures into the regional consciousness of our blue continent. Mentorship and apprenticeship programs offer opportunities for the transfer of cultural knowledge, pairing our youth with elders and practitioners to directly learn skills, crafts, and stories, like the Anofale program I took part in last year based in Samoa, where we spent 2 months dedicated to learn from influential women leaders on cultural customs. Art and literature, museums and galleries act as cultural archives while promoting creativity and excellence, diversity of Solomon Islands cultures. Lastly, culture must be applied. In simple terms, it must be lived out. According to the Pacific Region's Cultural Strategy 2022 to 2032, culture is the lifeblood of our communities. It is a key catalyst for the development of our island nations. So to end my presentation today, I would like to say whakatei tere lava, ala whakawalo tere lava.
tough time in Samoa. Very much. That presentation very much brought your graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Pacific Studies. And that reflected in the presentation that you presented this morning, so mahalola.
I believe that in this day and age, one of the greatest, threats to the preservation of our culture is globalization. And often with the theme of globalization comes the want of our youth to be something other than and thought you tell them, they'll roll their eyes. They'll be like, ugh, I just want to go on TikTok. But if we show them the why of their doing it, everything flows from there. A key point that I'd love to touch on in my own Samoan culture, a solution to gender so important to our young ones. We reinforce it in our youth programs, in our church programs, in our teaching in schools. I wonder if our gender-based violence stats would decrease. I think often we think of looking outside of our blue continent for answers. But we often have our answers in our own cultures.
You should become a
some of the research that I put into preparing for this they highlighted was that the areas of lack in the area of cultural preservation was funding. A lot of the cultural initiatives that start are often these things, but our public sector as well, to ensure that these programs that are already being done get the money to support and reinforce those things. Again, I'd like to reinforce that idea, and we have a proverb in Samoa that goes, if a fole alamea ele alamea. It means means that when you are spiked by a alamea kind of fish or a starfish, you must turn it over and it will suck the poison out of your foot. So the antidote for the alamea problem is the alamea itself.
Aftaitele lava Ms. Samoa for reminding us of the power of our cultures and the answers that rest in our own communities. Now we shift our focus to tourism, an industry that allows us
O kuiaia ki whanua o tui o seni, na e kai ke mau o tua. E masiva hele lei, hallelujah, pomonu ia eni. Ma'alolelei, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Heavenly Father in our midst and all present here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the national third hymn akin to all Tongans. Its significance reminds us all what E Belihau Ofa has taught us well. We are a sea of islands and not islands in the sea. We are blessed beyond measures, though we have very little to offer, lest we lose hope. Today, I stand before you to discuss the significance of tourism in the Pacific and the critical role our young leaders play in shaping its future. Tourism is more than just an industry. It is about our values, our people, our land, and our ocean. These define our uniqueness, and it is imperative that we protect and cherish these treasures. Tourism is essential for our economy, environmental conservation, and cultural preservation. I want to share and shine light on the young leaders who are at the forefront of this movement, hailing from diverse backgrounds, be it environmental science, cultural heritage, or community advocacy. They unite with a shared vision for Tonga's tourism. By highlighting their achievements, we underscore the vital role of diverse leadership coming together and supporting one another in propelling our tourism industry forward. However, tourism in the Pacific faces significant challenges. Climate change poses a long-term threat, with rising sea levels, extreme weather events impacting our islands. Limited infrastructure hampers our ability to cater to a growing number of tourists. Additionally, cultural practices and norms can sometimes conflict with assumption of the international tourism development. Yet within these challenges lie opportunities. By addressing climate change through sustainable practices, we can position the Pacific as a leader in eco-friendly tourism. Adapting infrastructure to Pacific context will enhance our capacity to welcome visitors while preserving our natural beauty. Embracing and promoting cultural heritage can attract niche markets and create unique experiences for travelers. The future of tourism in the Pacific hinges on empowering our young people to lead. The diversity, innovative ideas, and unwavering passion will ensure a thriving and prosperous industry. The leaders of yesterday crawled, so myself and my sisters can walk today. I hope we empower the leaders of tomorrow to soar. Let us remember that tourism is not just about economic growth. It is about safeguarding our heritage, protecting our island homes, and fostering a sense of community. I stand here not alone, but one of many young women leaders in Tonga and across the Pacific, championing solidarity through the vastness of our moana, molded by the guidance of our ancestors, gathered here today on the woven mats of our Pacific mana. This is our Pacific tourism, a regional identity of good hospitality, food, and vibrant people. The unity in our diversity, persevering and leading still in the face of adversity. Still for all ages, for all eternity in this Tongan hymn. Lape palafisai, toki olive eua, ule anga mesiasi kai malo I hafonua. Hota monu, e ta mai hahau, kau kaua. Malo avito.
Thank you, Ms. Tonga, for this lovely presentation on tourism. My question to you is, how can you empower our young people in preserving sustainable tourism?
Thank you so much for the question. Working with the youth has been my passion. I think it's important that youth work together. I would like to collaborate, especially our young leaders who are sitting here today, so that we can work on programs, creating dialogue sessions so that we can empower our young people to preserve and create sustainable tourism, especially protecting our environmental degradations, and also to emphasize unity so that we can work together to come up with initiatives and solutions, because their diversity and their opinions and their ideas matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tonga. That was a beautiful presentation you had.
Thank you.
Ms. Tonga, if you are to win Miss Pacific Island, how would you promote the Pacific to the world?
Thank you for the question. How will I promote the Pacific to the world? The Pacific is not just a vast ocean or a land of islands. It is about our cultural heritage, conserving our environment, and working with one another to protect our island and our people. We are islands of the sea, islands in the sea. Second of all is fighting against climate action, climate disasters. And that means taking action matters. And this includes everyone, not only the youth, but all people around the Pacific. And lastly, I call upon our leaders, everyone, to work together as we march to create a better, resilient, faith, and dedication to stewardship for our country to thrive in the future. Thank you.
Mahito, Ms. Tonga, for reminding us of how important tourism is to the Pacific. From tourism, we now look beyond our shores in the Pacific to the realm of international relations. Let's welcome Miss American Samoa, Poliana Felice Italo.
Test.
Good afternoon, esteemed judges, fellow contestants, and everyone gathered here today. It's often said that no nation is an island unto itself. This rings especially true for us in the Pacific, where the survival and prosperity of our islands are deeply connected to the world beyond our shores. From education scholarships to job opportunities, healthcare support, and trade, international relations touch every aspect of our lives. These relationships, through diplomacy, partnerships, and cooperation, shape not just our economies, but our cultures and futures. As I stand before you, I am reminded of how deeply our Pacific communities are interconnected. We are a living example of what international relations look in practice. Just as in our villages, where neighbors rely on each other for support, our nations and people form ties that drive mutual growth. The beauty of the Pacific is not just in our landscapes, but in the rich diversity of our cultures, languages, and traditions. And like the stories passed down through generations, our relationships with the wider world hold the power to create lasting change. This is where platforms like the Miss Pacific Islands pageant come in. They provide a stage where Pacific women, like the current Miss Pacific Islands, Moana Schwenke, use their voices to spark change. It's not just about beauty, it's about representation. It's about sharing the stories of our islands and celebrating the strength, resilience, and wisdom of Pacific peoples. Through this platform, we foster connection. Federal aid support our schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, while trade agreements open markets for industries like tuna fishing. International partnerships provide scholarships and military opportunities for our youth, giving them the chance to gain higher education and build careers while contributing back to our islands. But American Samoa is not alone in benefiting from international relations. Our Pacific neighbors, Tonga, Samoa, Kiribati, Cook Islands, the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, and Nauru, each play vital roles in this global network. Tonga and Samoa receive international development aid, strengthening their education and infrastructure. Nations like Kiribati and the Solomon Islands are leading the global fight for climate change. The Cook Islands and Papua New Guinea engage in international trade, boosting their economies, and Nauru, though small, is a proud member of the United Nations, proving that even the smallest nations have a voice. Together, we are United Pacific, and through our collective strength, we have made an impact on the global stage. Whether it's through the Pacific Islands Forum, which I am happy to say that American Samoa was recently accepted as a member, or the United Nations, we have used our influence to call for urgent action on climate change and the protection of our oceans. Our region's shared vision and commitment to sustainable development serve as a reminder of how much more we can achieve when we stand together. As Pacific women, we carry this legacy of unity and purpose. The Miss Pacific Islands pageant is not just a beauty contest. It is a platform for change, forming diplomatic ties, and for ensuring that the voices of Pacific peoples are heard in global discussions. As Hilda Heine, former president of the Marshall Islands, once said, Pacific women are not waiting to be given a seat at the table. We are building our own table and inviting the world to sit with us. From leaders like Attorney Ann Dunn, former Miss Fiji and Pacific Islands, to Matau Aina to Omalitai, Wickham, former Miss American Samoa and Pacific Islands in Cultural Preservation with Lelalele Dance Academy, and former Miss Samoa and Miss Pacific Islands Mary Jane McGivens Schwenke, promoting inclusivity and diversity through the promotion of identity and culture at Matawai Cultural Arts. We see how women in the Pacific are shaping our future. These are the trailblazers, women who carry with them the wisdom of our ancestors while pushing forth with strength and vision. In closing, let us remember that the call in our international relations is not just about politics or policies. They are about people. It is about us, our communities, our families, and the future we are building together. We are the voices of the Pacific, and through unity, diplomacy, and representation, we will ensure that our islands thrive for generations to come. Thank you. Fa'atai lava.
That was a powerful speech, Miss American Samoa.
Thank you.
Now, social media is a powerful platform to unite and divide. In relations to your pageant journey, where there were horrendous comments about your fellow competitors, as a leader, how would you respond to this?
You know, it's so much that's out of our control on social media. And we can't really control the negative comments that come our ways, especially as competitors. But I would love to share with you all the journey that my sisters and I have had, regardless of the backlash or the negative feedback that we've been receiving online. I tell you, I just laugh at it because it's like, me and my sisters get along so well, and I feel like the true essence of leadership is not entertaining the negativity. We let it blow with the wind. It's letting God center you and guide you with your values in life. It is the way that we have been able to love on one another, regardless that this is a competition. I truly feel the bond that we have fostered is so genuine that we don't even let the social media noise get to us. Because as I've stated, it's much more than a beauty contest. This is about celebrating the diversity of our cultures and where we come from. When we leave the Solomon Islands, I'm sure I can speak for my sisters and I when I say, I leave a changed woman. I will never be the same. True leadership is walking in humility, and it has been so humbling learning from you all, and I mean that with my whole heart. I hope that answers your question.
Malo, Miss American Samoa.
Malo Sefua.
Thank you very much for that very, very strong presentation. My question for you is, and you touched on cultural diplomacy. What role do you see cultural diplomacy play in international relations?
Cultural diplomacy in international relations, it's especially critical, especially to us as Pacific Islanders. It is our northern star and our guide. It is our identity as people and as leaders. As Pacific Island leaders, we don't lead out of greed for power or the greed for money. We lead for the love of our people. We lead because we're caretakers of the largest body of water. We fight for a deeper purpose. We don't just lead for a title. Where I'm from in American Samoa, as well as my sister Litara, we share the same culture. We say that oleala ile pule o le tautua. The way to leadership is through service.
And I believe that is the way that most of our Pacific Island people lead. We lead with service and we lead with the heart of wanting change for our people. And not the money or the power or playing into the capitalistic way of life. That's not who we are. And that's why cultural diplomacy is so important. It is the heartbeat of who we are as leaders in the Pacific. Otherwise, why lead at all? Thank you.
Just before we introduce the next contestant, may I remind of the housekeeping matters. We just heard a phone ringing at the back, so please, again, switch off your mobile phones or put it on silent mode. We do not want any disruptions while the contestants are having their presentations. Also, please keep all applause until the end of the contestants' presentation. Thank you.
Maloli Fatsoa, Kaftai was very inspiring words. As we continue, we turn our attention to the pressing socio-economic issues that shape our community. From contestant 5, Ms. Kiribati Kimberly Tokana.
Leadership is not tested in times of comfort. It is tested in times of adversity. Honorable judges, my lovely fellow contestants, and ladies and gentlemen, melody and warm Pacific greetings. Our region is known for its beauty and cultural heritage, but it also faces urgent challenges that threaten our future well-being. Today, I want to highlight 3 critical socioeconomic issues: climate change and socioeconomic vulnerability, youth unemployment, and social inequality. These challenges affect real lives, and we need strong leadership and urgent action. Find natural disasters are setting back economies by years. Ocean warming is depleting fish stocks, threatening one of our biggest industries, fisheries. The economic impact is also staggering. The World Bank estimates that climate-related disasters cost us over $1 billion annually. But how can our small island nations recover when resources are already stretched so thin? This begs the question, how do we secure our economies against the crisis that we did not create? The answer lies in sustainable solutions like climate resilient infrastructure, economic